Hello, and welcome to your lesson about Title IX student training, how to identify the characteristics of a bully, harassment, and gender-based harassment. I can identify who a bully is and what they do. I can use my tools to be an upstander against bullies. Let's get started. Do you remember our steps to critical thinking and problem solving? Step 1, listen to the question. Step 2, listen to all of your answer choices. Step 3, think about your choices. Step 4, answer the question by choosing one of the answer choices. Make sure you're using those steps to critical thinking and problem solving while we answer these questions. Question number 1. To imagine the feelings that someone else is experiencing is it eyes? Is it ears? Or is it empathy? Which one? Did you say empathy? If you said empathy, that's right. To imagine the feelings that someone else is experiencing is called empathy. Question number 2. Who is someone who helps others when they are being bullied? Is it eyes, an upstander, or nose? Which one? Did you say upstander? If you said upstander, great job. An upstander is someone who helps others when they are being bullied. Now we are going to watch our anticipatory set. Pay attention because when you're finished, I'm going to ask you a question about the anticipatory set.
Did you know that almost 1 in 5 students has reported being bullied at one time or another? And 41% of those students who reported being bullied at school felt like it might happen again. Bullying is a big deal and a big word that can get jumbled up. So let's take a closer look at what it means and break it down a bit. First things first, what is bullying? The actual definition goes something like this. Bullying is unwanted, aggressive behavior among school-age children that involves a real or perceived power imbalance. The behavior is repeated or has the potential to be repeated over time. Well, that's kind of confusing, so let's try another way. We're going to call on my friend Boo the Ghost to help us understand bullying in a different way. Don't worry though, he's friendly. We're going to take the letters in Boo's name to come up with an easy way to learn about and remember the definition of bullying. Let's start at the beginning. The B stands for being mean. Now, this isn't your everyday meanness or teasing that might happen at school. Teasing can be annoying or upsetting, and sometimes even playful, but bullying is never playful and it always does harm. When you're being teased, you should be able to say stop and the other person listens, though you may have to repeat yourself a time or two. With bullying, the meanness keeps going, even though the person knows you don't like it. The O stands for on purpose. We have all made mistakes. Nobody is perfect. What matters is what we do once the mistake has been made. When someone tells you that you have hurt their feelings, what do? Do you own it and apologize, or do you ignore it and do it again? Bullying happens when we are mean to someone on purpose, knowing that what we're doing is going to hurt their feelings. The meanness is meant to make you feel small, while the other person feels powerful and in control. This is called an imbalance of power, and it is a sure sign of bullying. The last O in Boo's name stands for over and over again. If we try to tell someone that what they are doing is hurting our feelings and they still don't stop, that is when we say the meanness is repeating. It happens over and over again, even though you or a trusted adult have asked the person to stop.
All right, so based on that anticipatory set, what do you think we're going to learn about today? Do you think we're going to learn about ham? Do you think we're going to learn about bullies? Or do you think we're going to learn about weather? Which one? Did you say bullies? That's right. We are going to learn about bullies today. Let's get started. In order to learn about bullies during our lesson, you're going to need to know a repeated storyline, and you're going to need to know some vocabulary words. Our repeated storyline is, bullying hurts people and makes them sad. Here are some of our vocabulary words. Empathy, upstander, bystander, and bully. These are 4 vocabulary words that you're going to see during the lesson. Let's define them. Our essential question is going to be, what is bullying and gender-based harassment, and what can you do to stop it? I have a question for you. Is there a difference among joking and being mean? Yes or no? Yes, there is a difference. Let's talk about those differences. The first thing we're going to talk about is a joke. A joke is something that you might not find funny, but somebody finds it funny. The person telling the joke probably thinks that joke is funny. If you don't think a joke is funny and it hurts your feelings, it is your responsibility to tell the person who is telling the joke that you do not like the joke and it hurts your feelings. If they continue to make the joke, that is something called teasing. So when they know that something is bothering you and they tease you, they keep making the joke, that's called teasing. But joking and teasing are not bullying. If somebody is teasing you and you tell them to stop and they stop, well, then they're not bullying you. They have stopped because it is not repetitive. Bullying is mean in nature. So mean is something that is intentionally hurtful. Do you remember the on purpose in Boo? It's something that's done on purpose to hurt you. Let's look at some different scenarios. If I tell you a knock-knock joke, am I joking, teasing, or being mean? Which one? A knock-knock joke is a joke. A knock-knock joke is not meant to hurt your feelings or make you feel bad. It is just meant to be funny. Are they always funny? No. But it's the intention behind the joke. It's not meant to be mean. I have another question for you. If I say you need a haircut and you're starting to look like a fuzzy monster, am I joking, teasing, or being mean? Which one? This is an example of teasing. It's actually not very nice to say you look like a fuzzy monster and you need a haircut. It's teasing, but it's not intentionally hurtful and it's not meant to make you feel bad. However, if I were to continue to tell you you look like a fuzzy monster after you told me that it hurts your feelings and you wanted me to stop, then that would turn into something that was mean and not teasing. I have one more question for you. If someone says your clothes are ugly and you have bad taste, are they making a joke? Are they teasing? Or are they being mean? This scenario is someone being mean. There's nothing funny about somebody saying that you're ugly and you have bad taste. That's not funny at all. It's just mean. It's on purpose and it's intentionally hurtful. Who is a bully? A bully is a person who purposefully tries to hurt others by making them feel uncomfortable, hurting them by kicking them, hitting them, or pushing them or tripping them, name-calling, or spreading nasty rumors. These are all things that a bully can do. Harassment is any unwanted behavior, physical, verbal, anything that makes a reasonable person feel uncomfortable, humiliated, or mentally distressed. Harassment is what bullies do. What is gender harassment? Gender harassment is verbal, nonverbal, graphic, or physical aggression, intimidation, or hostile conduct based on sex, sex stereotyping, sexual orientation, or gender identity. This is another example of harassment. Harassment is what bullies do. Let's watch this video. In this video, you are going to see an example of bullying. After we're done watching the video, we will reflect on the video.
You think this is okay? Didn't do anything. Oh, you didn't do anything. Yeah. Oh,
We've all heard about it, seen it, and maybe at one point in our lives been a target. Hello, I'm Edie White, the coordinator for bullying prevention and student support in Katy ISD. For years, bullying was known as a fact of life and a part of growing up. But over the past several decades, this behavior has been recognized as a serious act that no child should have to endure. Yet the reality is, bullying is present and schools are not exempt. Physical bullying is the most obvious form of bullying and usually easier to spot because it involves physically aggressive acts to gain power and control over the target. Examples of physical bullying include hitting, slapping, or kicking, tripping or pushing, maliciously destroying someone's personal belongings, as well as spitting on someone. Verbal bullying is used to demean and belittle another person and is just as harmful. This action includes teasing, name-calling, inappropriate sexual comments, taunting, and threatening to cause harm. Ultimately, all forms of bullying are damaging and can lead to lower self-esteem, depression, fear, anxiety, and feelings of worthlessness. It can affect a child or teenager long into their adulthood. If your child is a target or sees someone being bullied, encourage him or her to speak to an adult or make a report using the Speak Up app. Remember, don't just stand by. Speak up against bullying.
All right, so let's talk about some of the things you saw in that video. We are going to talk about the difference between a target and a bully. A target is the person who is on the receiving end of the bullying, while a bully is the person doing the bullying. Let's talk about the difference between a bystander and an upstander. A bystander is a person who observes a conflict or unacceptable behavior but does not take part in it. An upstander is a person who supports and stands up for someone else. What can you do to be an upstander if me or someone I know is being bullied or harassed? Let's look at some ways that we can be upstanders. You can tell an adult. If you see something happening that makes you uncomfortable or you see somebody being bullied or harassed, you need to tell an adult. Or if you are being bullied and harassed, you need to tell an adult. You can tell the bully to stop. That is a great way to be an upstander, is to tell the bully to stop doing what they're doing. Do not gossip. Gossiping seems harmless, but it's not. It's not harmless at all. It makes everybody feel worse about a situation that's already bad. If somebody is being bullied or you see somebody being bullied, talking about it and making fun of it is just as bad as doing the bullying. You're not an upstander, you're a contributor. Support the victim. It is important to be supportive of the victims of bullying. You can help them by telling them some of these tools that you have to be an upstander. You can support them by telling them it's okay to tell an adult. It's okay to tell the bully to stop. Supporting them sometimes just means listening. That can help too. Let's talk about empathy. Empathy is so important. Empathy means to imagine the feelings that someone else is experiencing. Let's listen to this song about empathy.
To you, but you know that you're not alone. There's other folks with feelings too. So when you get together, try to understand how they might feel, because they might have their own ideas with feelings that are just as real. Oh, empathy means feeling what others feel. You felt it too. Happy, sad, angry, glad. You notice it and you understand. Oh, empathy is feeling what others understand. Oh, empathy means feeling what others feel. You felt it too. Happy, sad, angry, glad. You notice it and you understand. Oh, empathy is feeling what others feel. You felt it too. Happy, sad, angry, glad. You notice it and you understand. Oh, empathy means feeling what others feel. You felt it too. Happy, sad, angry, glad. You notice it and you understand. Oh, empathy is feeling what others feel. You felt it too. Happy, sad, angry, glad. You notice it and you understand. That's right.
All right, I see another repeated storyline here. This repeated storyline says, I will not be a bully, I will be an upstander. Here are directions for the story. We're going to read a story about Sandra. After we read the story, we're going to work together to identify people in the story and their roles. When you are listening to this story, use your best empathy. Try to think about how you would feel if you were in Sandra's situation. So the title of our story is Sandra's Birthday Party. Our repeated storyline is I will not be a bully, I will be an upstander. Some core words that you're going to see in this story are I and not. I will not be a bully. I will not be a bully. I will be an upstander. Let's read this story. Sandra is planning a birthday party. Her parents have set a limit of 15 kids, so she can't invite everyone she'd like. Do you see our repeated storyline? I will not be a bully. I will be an upstander. I. Two kids who were not invited, Jesse and Maya, overheard the plans. They decided to spread mean rumors about Sandra using an anonymous messaging app. Do you see the yellow star? What's our repeated storyline? I will not be a bully. I will be an upstander. Not. They say things like, Sandra is not cool. Not sure why anyone would go to her filthy house. I heard Sandra is having fruit instead of cake. Yuck! Do you see the repeated storyline? I will not be a bully. I will be an upstander. It is not very nice. They are spreading rumors about Sandra. That is another way to bully somebody. And let's stop to talk about this for a second. This is called cyberbullying. When you bully somebody on a digital platform, that is called cyberbullying, and it is another form of harassment and bullying. They encouraged the students who were invited to the party to add reasons why she isn't cool. When Sandra logs onto the app, she sees the messages and her stomach sinks. I will not be a bully. I will be an upstander. She feels hurt and embarrassed and doesn't know who's posting the messages. She tells her parents she's sick so she won't have to go to school the next day. Do you see the repeated storyline? I will not be a bully. I will be an upstander. She even thinks about canceling her party. There's a repeated storyline. I will not be a bully. I will be an upstander. Now that we're done with our story, I have a question for you. Who is the victim in this story? Who? Sandra is the victim. Sandra is the victim of the cyberbullying. She is not the aggressor in this situation. It is not her fault she can only have 15 people at her birthday party. Who are the cyberbullies in this story? Who? Jesse and Maya are the cyberbullies in this story. They are bullying Sandra on a cyber platform, and they are spreading rumors about her and making her feel bad. Next, I have some questions for you about this story, about how you felt, and you're going to need to use empathy to answer those questions. But first, I want to review our zones of regulation. The first zone is the blue zone. This is your rest zone. This is when your heart is at a decelerated rate. So it's moving a little bit slower. You might be tired, you might be sick, you might be sad. These are all feelings you can feel in the blue zone. The next zone is the green zone. This zone is a zone for happiness, focus, contentment. These are all feelings you might feel in the green zone. This is when your heart is the most regulated state. The next zone is your yellow zone. This is when your heart is at a slightly elevated state. You could be worried, anxious, but you can also be excited or feeling silly. Your heart is slightly elevated in the yellow zone. The next zone is your red zone. This is your highest state of alertness. Your heart is the most elevated. You could be angry, terrified, or feeling rage in this zone. It is okay to be in the red zone sometimes, but it is important when you're in the red zone to use your tools to find your way back into the yellow, green, and blue zones. So I have a question for you. Use your best empathy. When Jesse and Maya were not invited to Sandra's birthday party, what zone do you think they were in? Do you think they were in the blue zone, the green zone, or the red zone? Which one? They were in the red zone. They were very mad when they were not invited to the party, filled with rage. So much anger that they decided to bully Sandra. I have another question for you. When Sandra was bullied online, what zone do you think she was in? Do you think she was in her blue zone, her green zone, or her red zone? Which one? She was in her blue zone. When Sandra was bullied online, she was very sad, and this put her in her blue zone. Here are some extended activities that you can do as a class or on your own. The first activity is called Bully Combat Cards. Complete the activity by clicking on the Google document in the slides presentation. You will need glue, scissors, the handout, and some index cards. The next activity can be found by clicking the link below. Practice Internet Safety. Click the link to enter Interland. Select an activity and work as a class to answer questions about internet safety and digital citizenship. Last, you could read this story. Read this story about gender harassment and reflect on how we can show the character empathy. Next, we are going to make some connections. Do you remember your steps for understanding connections? Step number 1, listen to the lesson. Step number 2, how does it apply in school? Step number 3, how does it apply in the community? And step number 4, how does it apply in the world? Let's make these connections together. The first connection is how does it apply in school? We are going to watch a video about how you can stand up to bullies in your school.
Hi everyone, you're just in time for another great story. Click that subscribe button for more. Leave Me Alone, a tale of what happens when you face up to a bully. By Kes Gray, illustrated by Lee Wildish. Leave me alone, I said. Sorry, said the fly. I saw you looking miserable and couldn't pass you by. Leave me alone, I said. Sorry, said the frog. You're looking so downhearted, I had to leave my log. Leave me alone, I said. Sorry, said the robin. Pardon me for asking, but did I hear you sobbing? Leave me alone, I said. Sorry, said the cat. Your sadness makes my whiskers welt. I think we need to chat. Leave me alone, I said. Sorry, said the rabbit. Helping people who need help has always been a habit. Leave me alone, I said. Sorry, said the cow. I'd like to cheer you up as well, but need to find out how. Leave me alone, I said. Sorry, said Magpie. I see that you're unhappy. What I need to see is why. Leave me alone, I said. Sorry, said the pig, but problems should be talked about, especially if they're big. Leave me alone, I said. They're far too big for you. They're far too big for anyone. There's nothing you can do. My problem is a giant, so big he blocks the sun, who teases me and bullies me every day for fun. A giant full of nasty words, a giant huge and strong, who casts a shadow over me as dark as it is long. There's nothing you can do for me. There's nothing you can say. Oh no, the ground is shaking. He's heading right this way. Leave him alone, they said, the rabbit and the fly, the cow, the frog, the pig, the cat, the robin and magpie. I shut my eyes, then opened them, not one voice, two or three, but 8 loud voices all at once were standing up for me. Tall as mighty tree trunks, brave as brave can be, my friend stood tall and strong and firm, and faced my enemy. The giant stopped and stared at us, not knowing what to say. He sneered and snarled and frowned a lot. And then he walked away. He took his dark, dark shadow and stomped across the hill. I never saw him after that, and I know I never will. Thanks for
That was a great story that showed the difference between an upstander and a bystander. In that situation, all of those friends were trying to be an upstander for their friend. And then in the end of the story, they were. Here is an example of a connection to our community, which also just happens to be a connection to our school.
We have an initiative that is in place that is called Stand Up and Speak Out, where we're trying to build awareness in our school district, in our community.
So I really appreciate what all of us can do, our small part. Just by being kind to someone, stopping someone from being hurt, that makes a big difference. So I'm going to sign this pledge because I believe in it.
I'm Andrew Murray, U.S. Attorney for the Western District of North Carolina, and I took the pledge.
If you see something or feel something that makes you or another of your colleagues feel unsafe, please say something. If we can all be kind to one another and treat each other with respect and just kindness, I think we will help reduce and hopefully someday eradicate this issue. Treat people like you want to be treated.
All right, that was an example of something that's happening in your community to help get rid of bullying, stop bullying.
3.
This last video is a connection to the world. Let's make a connection between the world and what we just learned in this lesson.
2, 1.
If you do just one thing today,
choose to be kind in what you say.
Our words and actions set us free.
Speak with respect. You'll quickly see.
Friendship is what we will find.
We are what we choose, so let's be kind. If you try just one thing new, show respect with what you do.
Kodak S nice.
Make a mark.
Lift your words up, ignite the spark.
Start the chain of kinder acts.
Step out of line
and don't look back. If you share just one thing today, Make the smile. Lead the way.
Spread the word. What will it be?
3, 2, 1.
Small actions help the world to see.
We can bring bullying to an end.
Think before you click. Like, share, or send.
If you notice someone causing pain, how you act can be the change.
However, we can share and show.
One small gesture, thought or voice, each of us can make a choice. Raise your voice, tell the world. Join us in saying one kind word. Inspire others to follow your lead. One kind word is all you need. If you do just one thing today,
Choose one kind word.
what could you say?
Three, two.
All right, thank you so much for your time today and learning this lesson with me about Title IX student training, how to identify the characteristics of bullies, harassment, and gender-based harassment. Hopefully you can say that you can identify who a bully is and what they do, and you can use your tools to be an upstander against bullies. Until next time, bye-bye.